are you ready to be fired up? Because I sure am. I've got Jeffrey Brogger here. He is a commercial agent with EXP, as well as having his own podcast, and he works with agents in the top 1%, generate leads and follow up with them and actually have a better online digital presence. So I'm sure, Jeffrey, you can do better at talking about yourself than I can. Welcome to Fired Up.
Thank you. No, and you really nailed it. I mean, we'll dive into some amazing things today. I was reading your bio prior to this, and I love your experience in real estate, your experience in coaching, and your experience in digital marketing. Look at those 2 Comma Club awards behind you. I mean, this is amazing. For those of you that don't know, the 2 Comma Club is a ClickFunnels award when you sell over $1 million through a specific funnel, and that is very rare. And Krista Mashore here has multiple. I mean, what, like 4 or 5 and a 2 Comma X? I mean,
7.
really... Yeah. She was blocking. She has 7 of those awards. So she understands digital marketing to a degree where I'm really excited about this conversation because we'll be on the same page about so much. I'm excited to learn more than what I'm able to offer. But just here to add value.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so, right now more than ever, agents need, not agents, but any business needs to learn about digital marketing. And so many agents are just taught to do the traditional things like open houses and cold calling and door knocking and pop pies and sphere of influence, all of which can work, but it's very difficult because it's one-to-one. With digital marketing, you're one-to-many. So talk to me a little bit about one-to-many and some of the things that you're doing to help agents across the country in the top 1%, really, really dominate their profession.
Absolutely. So when it comes to one-to-many, the power of social media is that with a single post, single video, you have the opportunity to still capture your personality and your message and your expertise, but have hundreds of people watch it per minute, and it takes you 0 extra time, right? So it is so scalable. And when you apply it correctly and you're consistent with it, this can really take you to the next level. And it really comes down to consumer behavior. One of my favorite college courses was consumer behavior marketing, and really considering, what your target consumer is doing in the process of purchasing or getting ready to list their home. And nowadays, what are they doing? They're starting the search online. They forgot the realtor that they did business with 5 to 7 years ago because they're not following up with them. Mm-hmm. And so now they're starting the search over again. And what are they doing later down the funnel when they're really ready? Well, that's when they're searching the Zillows and the things like that. But prior to the time when they actually go to those apps and start searching for homes, they're doing some research online. They're looking, they might see some posts in Facebook. They might join a Facebook group, or they're already in a group. And so you can actually do what's called fishing upstream and do it with a one-to-many type of approach, to where you have all of these leads in your pipeline before they even go to those bigger portals. So that is just the one-to-many in a nutshell. And I mean, we could dive into organic, we could dive into paid advertising, we could dive into so many things from there. But does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. Like I always tell people, if people are only thinking about you when they're ready to take action, it's already too late. The goal is that you've got to be showing up, and they need to know who you are and thinking about you and know what you do. And you need to be serving them and helping them prior to them even being ready to take action, right? Because once they're ready, they're going to get bombarded with 8 million realtors and all those things. And that's when it just becomes really, really hard.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it's also much less expensive to do the fishing upstream. Now, the caveat is that they are farther up the funnel, so it takes a little bit longer to convert them. But you can get, buyer and seller leads top of funnel and start to nurture them and start to, drip videos on them and keep in touch and learn what they really want and need. And also, a lot of leads come in today and they say, oh yeah, I'm going to buy next year. And that's where scripting comes into play, because if you're just the agent that says, okay, sounds good, I'll follow up then, and you just put them on a drip campaign, that's
let's role play.
No offense, that's being a little bit more of an order taker than helping them and guiding them, right? So yeah, go for it.
Because I suck at script. So okay. So no, Jeffrey, I'm just looking, I'm thinking about, probably in a year or so is when I'm gonna start to look for a home.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And you say that for a reason. What is that reason?
Oh, my daughter's graduating from high school and will probably end up moving down, or maybe even out of the area once that happens.
Got it. And so she's graduating next, what, May or June?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. How exciting. And with that, if you are looking at moving after she graduates, is that, did I hear you correctly in that?
Yes, after, huh?
Okay. And the reason why you don't want to move in her senior year is what exactly?
It doesn't make any sense to her. I don't want to up shuffle her and she's going to be leaving, going away to college. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, absolutely. And with that being said, that's, that's what's holding you back. But really what I want to learn as well is what's motivating you to move. What are you looking forward to? Is it a situation where you're downsizing after she goes to college? Is it a situation where you're actually going to be upgrading or moving somewhere else? What's your main motivation for moving?
Yeah, we want to move down, less stuff in our house, and get rid of some of the PG&E.
Yep,
And
absolutely. No, I totally understand. And, with that being said, you don't want to downsize before she moves out, right? So,
Yeah.
So with that being said, what I would suggest from my professional experience is that it takes a few months to kind of get the ball rolling and start looking at homes, you want a saved search and really find exactly what you want. And so if you're going to be moving in July or August when she moves out, in February, we should be setting you up on save searches. And really in January, we should help get you with my lending partner and get you pre-qualified so we know exactly what you can afford. And so, right now it's August. So what I'm going to do is send you some market reports, keep in touch over the next few months. And then in January, we'll get this ball rolling. How's that sound?
That's good. So you're going to call me every month or what?
Well, I don't have to call you every single month. You can call me if you want to. But much easier. You can follow me on social media, of course. I'll send you a few emails here and there. And, with that being said, of course, if things change and your timeline shortens, then let me know. But if you also want to set up a save search now, then let me know because, we can do that. We could get you into something before the holidays. But based on your timeline, I think it makes the most sense for you to serve you better to just get the ball rolling in January. That way, once July, August comes, we are fully ready. We can make an offer instantly and we can get into the house of your dreams, even though it is a downsize.
Ooh, I like that, Jeffrey. That was good. It was good. See, so what he did was he didn't open-ended questions. He was like, it wasn't a no, yes question. It was questions that were going to get me talking, right?
I was like, oh, why is that? Yeah, what's the motivation?
Exactly. Yeah, kind of like repeating what they're saying. Oh, so you're saying why? Exactly. Oh, that was good. Good.
And the reason why I didn't try to increase the timeline is because you didn't give me an objection, you gave me a condition. Now, the difference is objections are typically fears or something that they're throwing up a smokescreen and you can help them actually mentally get through that and, get to your goal and help guide them. A condition is something that you cannot overcome. A condition of downsizing to a smaller house after your daughter moves out, you're not going to downsize to a smaller house before the daughter moves out.
Yes.
Right. And so having that understanding, I think, is important of this is not something I can overcome or need to overcome in this moment. I can actually increase rapport by letting her do the transaction in a year, but also maintain my expertise of saying, look, it's going to take about 6 months to build up to that. Does that make sense?
So can you do me a favor? Give me some more examples of actual objections that people say and how you overcome them.
Okay. And
I'm only
really,
doing this because people have a hard time with this kind of stuff. Like realtors have not been trained like this.
Right. And I will say that there are others that are better at this, right? My real expertise is in marketing and getting to the point where when they call you, they already know who you are and it's a much easier conversation. But
so we can do that instead. So I know that we teach very similar philosophies, right? And I'm more about the paid reach because I know how successful paid reach can be and how effective it can be. But you said something about organic. So talk to me a little bit about what your advice would be if for organic reach.
Okay. Yeah, we could dive into that too. And by the way, I'm a huge paid advertising guy too. Copywriting, that's my jam. So organic on what platform?
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Well,
or would you want to talk about something else? I feel like I'm putting you in the wrong direction. I'm taking tidbits of what you said earlier and then bringing them out there. What would you like to talk about?
Facebook and Instagram is great.
Okay.
So we should talk about what has changed in Facebook advertising pretty soon here, and mainly with sellers. right? With capturing address and lead forms and all that now being
Yes.
restricted. Like we can go deep on that. But
That
as
has
far
been
as
a pain in the butt. We have to change all of our funnels. The algorithm is like seeing if you're asking for their address on right now. It's like we're on like the third page. We're getting away with it, but we know they're going to get rid of that soon too. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's been a pain.
Yep. So we can go deep on that. But as far as I can talk about organic here, just briefly, with organic, here's just the easiest way to consistently create high quality content that your consumers will love. You create a strategy for each day of the week, 5 days, and you refer back to your brand, market report, what's important. You do what's called success modeling. Look at the agents in your market that have the biggest followings and what they're doing, and then you just categorize each day. So maybe Monday is Motivation Monday, and you go live for 5 minutes and talk about a mindset topic. And this could be for agent recruiting as well as for buyers and sellers, and it's just you on video. And then every Tuesday is Testimonial Tuesday. And then every Wednesday is blank, and every Thursday is blank, and every Friday is blank. And then maybe every Saturday you go live at an open house or one of your agents does. Have a theme for each day. I'm telling you, this will make it so much easier. And then also, when you get to the point where you can outsource this stuff, now there's a system. It's not just you, oh gosh, I need to post, and last minute at noon that day trying to think of what to do, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say categorize each day for organic and stick to it. And then, of course, measure. Look at the analytics, look at which posts performed best, and then do more of that. So that's just in a nutshell organic, if that makes sense.
Yes, I love it. So let's talk about the whole, because most people don't even understand what's happening right now with the iOS 4 update, how HUD is really, going crazy about people asking for addresses because they don't want people, picking and choosing who they want to work with based upon addresses, which I think is just crazy. They even would think that we would do that, but another story for another day. Talk to me about what you're seeing and what you're doing to overcome those type of things. Let's in respect specifically to getting sellers on Facebook through paid advertising.
I'll tell you what, my clients are top 1% brokers, and they all tell me the same thing. I want listings for me, buyers for my team, and recruiting. And so, in that order, right? And so when it comes to sellers, that's their number one priority. That's a huge topic. And when it comes to sellers on social media, what we used to do is run a Facebook lead generation ad with a lead form, and we would capture first name, last name, phone number, email, and home address in the lead form. And we would get anywhere from $10 to $15 seller leads with all the information and full address. Well, that's how it used to be. But all of a sudden, about 4 months ago, with no warning, by the way, we usually get like these warnings and there's like, hey, in a couple months, we're going to be restricting this. All of a sudden, one day, all the seller ads I had live went deactivated and said, you can no longer collect personal address, zip code, due to discriminatory advertising, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was very taken aback, and we had to quickly scramble and pivot to a different type of funnel, which we had set up already. The cost per lead was a little bit more expensive, but it was a landing page funnel. And I know you're a big ClickFunnels user, so we have those templates on ClickFunnels ready to go. And we are still able to now collect address on landing pages. Now, whether they'll then start restricting that, I know you mentioned something about you have it on like the third page.
If it's on the first, so if you now direct traffic to your website and your website has a what's my home worth on it, your ads are getting shut down. Now, we were doing it to where we would send it to a funnel because we have like a what's my home worth funnel, a seller seminar funnel, all of them. And you can't have it on the first page. We've been able to get away with it being on the second page, but we're not sure for how long because they keep adding to the layers. They're little algorithm monkeys that go and check everything are noticing things now. So we're like, crap,
Right. Yeah. So with that being said, I haven't experienced that yet. Maybe they're rolling that out in phases. But we are still able right now to drive traffic to a landing page, and it'll either say address on the first question and then go to a series of questions after that, or the whole entire form is on the first page and it's first name, last name, phone. You're right. And so we're still able to do that. Now, I will give you one hack, not a hack, but
tell me your hack.
It's okay. So it's another option, really. And this is something that most marketers don't know as much about. But due to my background in chat marketing, I am
Messenger.
huge in this Messenger. So yeah, I spoke at the ManyChat conference last year uh, regarding my Messenger chatbot and AI and what we had built out because it was super extensive, tied into the MLS, the whole thing. So in click to Messenger ads, right now, as of August 31st, 2021, you can still collect address. And here's another caveat that Krista will really value. When you have someone fill out a lead form or interact with a lead form, the retargeting window is 90 days. When they interact on your website, it's 180 days. When they click and subscribe to Messenger, the retargeting window is 365 days.
Yeah.
So now you have a retargeting window that's 4 times as long. It's not relying on email to try and go match with that Facebook profile. It is their Facebook profile because their Messenger and their Facebook is intertwined. And so it's a really unique opportunity to get sellers, get the address, still collect phone and email. Maybe the lead cost is a little more expensive, but now you have the data you need and you can retarget them 4 times as long.
Because most of them, so it's more expensive to click to Messenger ads because not everyone's clicking. Is that why? Or they're not going to Messenger, or it's not set up, or they're not using it?
It seems to be that, so for example,
step, huh?
it's one more step, but if you do click to Messenger first, then that's that first step. You're gathering another data point. But we've just noticed that when you're doing click to Messenger, there's fall off. Just like any funnel, as you ask more and more questions, they fall off, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, if the click to Messenger might be $5 or $3 or $10, but then if you're considering a lead, name, phone number, email, and home address, anyone who comes in, puts their email, and then bounces isn't considered a lead, right? And so with that being said, when you really look at the numbers, typically I've seen that these click to Messenger ads, where you go Messenger first, and then you collect address, then you collect phone and email to get all the data, for whatever reason, it just is a little bit more expensive than the traditional lead form, which was like the holy grail, $10, and it's all the data we need, right?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. we'll have to test that because we haven't done that yet. But yeah, like last year, so we closed 48, we closed more than this, but just from jumping on going to our seller seminar funnel, we had 48 closed seller transactions resulting in $740,000 directly from Facebook ads to our funnel requesting a home analysis that we attributed straight from Facebook. And now it's getting harder and harder. And we're like, oh my gosh, and we don't spend a huge ad budget on it, but we have a really great follow-up system. But it's like, we love that. That's people raising their hand and saying, yes, I want a home evaluation. Here's my name, address, female. I've got this many bedrooms. Here's my upgrades. I plan on moving in this many months. Like that, we call that as 2-step, where they answer all those questions. They go to the next page. But man, this is how it always is, right, Jeffrey? I mean, we've been fighting the Facebook, demons and police for years, and all we have to do is it's about modifying it, changing, adapting, and pivoting as soon as possible.
No, it really is. And it's an unfortunate truth that when Facebook comes up with this amazing system, it then gets marketed massively because over the years, then so many people are then spending money to drive traffic to that channel. And then there's some kind of backlash, and then Facebook gets sued, and then they put restrictions in place. So it's this never ending cycle of here's this new tool, amazing. And there's this 1 or 2 year run. And then they're like, we're going to restrict it now or make it paid or whatever. So
crazy, because you think like they're losing so much money right now. This whole Apple iOS 4 update issues that it's causing, like people are bailing from Facebook advertising now.
That was a big deal, the iOS 14. And I mean, I have contacts at Facebook directly. And I mean, the whole iOS 14 update was something that they were not shy about, the fact that this is going to reduce your conversions. This is going to affect, your results that you've been used to. So that was a big deal for sure.
Now, let me tell you how it doesn't affect, and you can back me up on this, and I'll let you talk more about it. So we teach people how to create video content and get it out there to the masses, right? When somebody watches your video, you can retarget them and show them another video within Facebook. So the Apple iOS 4 update does not affect doing that. That's why the video marketing strategy on Facebook is still so powerful. And, so speak to that. So you said that you're really good at teaching people how to basically, when they get that call, convert it more easily because all the heavy lifting's already been done in the beginning? Explain that process.
Then that's through video, which supports your point. So with that being said, the iOS 14 update is regarding pixel data that's being transferred from an off Facebook asset, like a website.
Explain that. Those people don't know what a pixel is. I do, of course, but explain that so that our listeners understand exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm. So you know how your screen in your web browser is made up of pixels, like 1920 by 1080 or whatever. There's like thousands of pixels here. Imagine a Facebook pixel is a 1 pixel by 1 pixel invisible square in the top right of your website that kind of like observes people's actions and reports back to the Facebook media platform what that user is doing off Facebook. Mm-hmm. Why is that important? Well, now you can retarget them if they were at a certain scroll depth on a particular listing. Well, now you can retarget them with listings similar to that, and it's relevant to them, right? And if they click off Facebook, you don't have the pixel on your site. How is Facebook supposed to know what happens over there? And how are you supposed to then, as a marketer, take actions on that or set up an experience for them? So that's what a Facebook pixel is. And that data now is more and more restricted. So when someone opts out with iOS 14, it does not allow that pixel tracking to happen when they click off Facebook. But now to circle back, what about on Facebook? They still track everything. You're on their app. Like you sign your life away when you sign up for the app. So basically, when they're watching a video, one of the most powerful things you could do is retarget based on video view percentage. So what Krista is talking about here is you could post a video on Facebook on your business page, promote it with an ad or push it out to groups, and then you can actually create an audience based on people that watched 50% of the video or more. And that is matched directly to their Facebook profile. Is not affected by iOS 14. It does not rely on any pixel data because it's happening on Facebook or Instagram.
Yes, I love it. Good. See, so that means like, I'm so happy because we've been teaching this for years and years. And I'm like, guess what, guys? Everyone's so worried about this, but you don't need to because you've been doing it the right way all along. So you're fine, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the power of video. I mean, talk to me about what you've seen for these agents in the top 1%, how utilizing video consistently and correctly distributing it so it's actually being seen besides just your mom, dad, and dog and friends. The idea is for everyone to see it. Explain what you've seen happen to your clients based upon that.
Well, they become this local celebrity that they've always wanted to be, or maybe that they used to be. And then now that people are getting their news and their information digitally, they aren't anymore from the billboards and the radio, right? And so what this allows is for you to get thousands and thousands of impressions locally, and also to have specific videos for specific parts of the funnel, so that by the time someone has a conversation with you, it has a little bit of a celebrity effect. It's like, oh, this is really Krista I'm talking to. I've watched hours of your content, right? And to have that effect on someone prior to you ever speaking to them is powerful. And that's possible today with video.
I call it you win before you arrive, right? Like you are already positioned as the authority, seen as the expert. You're breaking down barriers. You're educating people, serving them. They see you as the person, right? And the thing I like is I know you say you deal with a lot of top 1%ers, but this works for brand new agents. A brand new agent
Absolutely.
Can start creating content, right? Putting ad spend behind it, targeting her local area, retargeting similar content, and all of a sudden perception is reality. Now it seems like they're actually doing business, and before you know it, they get nominated best realtor in their area. I believe it. That happened before. It's so funny. Okay. So I love you speak my language. I love it, Jeffrey. So give me what are like some of the best kind of video content you tell your people to create? Give us like your top 3 videos. If I didn't know anything about video, what would you tell me to create?
Well, if you're going after buyers, then you should probably be creating video for living in Huntington Beach, right? Living in this area, whatever area you are, because that will attract out-of-state buyers. You can put that into a group of your local clients and actually build kind of like a local homeowner group around it and start, posting in it with, oh, here's our favorite coffee shop, 602 Coffee. Here we are. Look, right across the street is the beach. And it's just you on video promoting living in that area, right? It proves that you're a local realtor, and that will attract buyers. Now, when it comes down to sellers, it's a little bit more of an interesting game because it's an exciting process to buy a house. But how many sellers do you know that were excited to sell their house?
Yeah, it's stressful.
It's much fewer and far between. It's
Yeah.
stressful. They're pretty comfortable where they are. They kind of don't want to move, but they kind of have to. So in that regard, it's a little bit more of an educational value to them, market report, houses that closed that are similar to theirs that, hey, this went in 21 days, 50% over or whatever, 50K over asking. So it's a little bit more of an educational piece, and it's interesting going after sellers. Now, here's the third thing. You can extract sellers from buyers. And this is where a lot of our seller lead generation is going now, just to give you like a little bit of a hint of where we're pivoting to as an agency, and how I'm helping to consult other companies that are keeping me on retainer. We understand that home buying is very, very attractive and fun, and that pictures of houses on social media get the most clicks. So how can we then leverage that low cost per lead and extract sellers from buyers?
Yeah, well, 40% of buyers are sellers.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, leaning more into that, developing technology around that, developing dynamic forms around it. And, once again, that goes back to creating video that is about the local market and attracting buyers, because then a percentage of them will be sellers.
Yes, good. I love it. I love it. I like how you guys pivot and adapt. So you help people come up with content to write, then you run their ads for them, and you also have the follow-up, the follow-up portion of it. It seems like handled too, which is the hardest part for many agents. They always, if you do a survey and say, hey, what do you want most as a realtor? They always say leads. And I always say, you don't want leads. You want leads that are high quality leads that are going to convert. And you get those by doing the process you just talked about creating video content, being seen over and over, being seen way before and thought about way before they're ever wanting to make the decision. It might be a little bit longer of a process, but the thing is that it's a much stronger converting process, and people will stick with you and stay with you longer, especially if you continue to remarket and utilize video content after they're done with the sale, from you. So, and you'll get more referrals that way from people that know you, that don't know you. It's an attraction-based business model, which is so different than just like generating leads that go to 8,000 agents and they're getting, bombarded by people from Zillow calling them.
Right. Yep. 100%.
Okay. So if you were to give any more advice to people listening, first of all, where can they find out about you and exactly what it is that you do for agents?
Sure. My website is steezy.digital. Now, Steezy stands for style with ease. That's a little bit of a shout out to my extreme sports growing up. I did surfing and skating and all kinds of extreme sports growing up. So that's a term in that industry. And I then applied that to real estate, thinking, 4 years ago, I noticed this problem that a lot of brokers that were in their 50s that had, an awesome 20-year, 25-year history in their market really struggle with the digital stuff. And if I was honest, they didn't look good online. They had pixelated photos. They had a terrible content strategy. They had no ads. And so I thought, what if I could make them look stylish online and it would be effortless for them, right? Steezy Digital. And now with that style and ease, we have 4 years later helped brokers all over the nation really upgrade their online presence. And so at steezy.digital, you can discover all the things we do. We offer branding, advertising, copywriting services, and it's all done for you. So the value, it is a little bit more expensive, of course, because you're leveraging my agency's assets to then execute this for you. But the value is that you don't have to do it yourself. It saves you all that time.
Yes.
And you can really just focus on meeting with buyers and sellers and recruiting and growing your brokerage.
That's awesome. And there's such a need for it, because I always say that many times all it takes is an agent that understands digital marketing, because really, truly, you should be a marketer first and an agent second. Your number one priority is to be a marketer, to serve your community, to really make it to where it's impossible for people not to think about you or know who you are. Somebody's knocking on my window. And which is the best way for you to be able to, some of my kids, to make it out there and just absolutely dominate. So it was my dog. I'm so sorry. She's trying to give me her ball.
That's okay.
I know. She knows she can play with me. I have a rule with my kids and my dog that they're allowed to interrupt me at any time during my anything.
I love it.
Yes. So that's great. So there's such a need for it, because, a lot of these older agents are just agents by default, but all it takes is somebody who's really active in marketing and understands it to come over there and take over. So you're helping people that have already have the experience, have done really well to continue to dominate and continue to really, do well in their profession. I that's awesome. Okay. So steezy.digital.com, right?
Nope. No .com.
Just steezy.digital.
That's right.
Okay. Steezy.digital. And you help with copywriting, ads,
branding,
getting people's online presence so that they look like they're from the 21st century.
That's right.
you do it for them, so it's easy. Okay. This was great. And you have a podcast too, Jeffrey. What is your podcast? What's the name of your podcast?
My podcast is named Lockbox. And I think we're going to have you on there pretty soon, which is exciting.
Yes.
And
totally cool.
I also have a commercial real estate brokerage, and I focus on multifamily. So, if you're interested in switching from residential to commercial, if you're already in commercial, you heard this and you're inspired, the unique value that I offer is that I really lean into my marketing experience, and I'm a brokerage that truly does offer leads to my agents, right? So we generate off-market deals all the time. And I think it's important to think outside the traditional brokerage model and think of it as an investor as well. And so, we'll find off-market multifamily deals. And if the owner wants to sell off-market, we have a list of investors to send it out to. And if they want to list it, well, that's where my agents can come in. They can list it, and I actually hand those to them. So I don't have to go through the listing process. I just generate the lead, get them a good split, hand it off. So
and you're with EXP, a commercial.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking about getting into commercial and you maybe think about changing brokerages, Jeffrey can help you. If you don't want to be commercial, you can always call me because I'm with EXP too. We're like EXP blood sister and brothers.
That's right.
Okay, Jeff, I always have everyone end with just giving one great piece of advice on what they would do both personally and like anything, any piece of advice. What would it be, whether personal, professional? What would you say to our listeners who are fired up that you are here? Steezy.digital.
I would think about lifetime value. If I had to say one thing to you that you would take from this podcast, I would say, look at every single new customer based on their lifetime value. And what that'll help you do is it'll help you spend more money up front and win more customers so that you can dominate your market. Now, what I mean by that is lifetime value is not the first transaction. The first transaction, depending on your market, might get you a $10,000 commission check, $20,000 commission check. In San Diego, the lifetime value of a real estate client is approximately $100,000. And that's not based on that first transaction. That's based on the first transaction and their referrals and their repeat transaction 5 years later when they bought and sold again. And you really factor in many more true lifetime events that happen through the life of that customer being a customer of yours or a client of yours. So what does that mean? If you know that a client is not worth 20 grand or 15 grand, but 100 grand, well, now you'll spend a little bit more up front than your competitors are willing to spend because you know that you have the systems in place to keep them long-term as a client and to make that profitable. The best companies in the world look at lifetime value, and it is a marketing concept that really needs to be understood more. So if I could leave you with one thing, it would be that.
I love that. I'm going to have to do a whole podcast on lifetime value because most of the time in real estate, they don't ever talk about it, right? We talk about that all the time in digital marketing, but agents do not think about that. That was an excellent, excellent ending. Probably honestly, one of my best, Jeffrey. And I'm not just saying that. So true. Understand the lifetime value. In fact, according to the National Association of Realtors, they say if you do a good job and you keep in contact and make it to where you're unforgettable from your clients from the time they leave you, right, that you should get between 7 and 9 more transactions that include referrals, working with them, their friends, their family over the lifetime of your career. So do the math. And what he's saying is that what you do up front, spend a little bit more money because you got to think about this in the long term because you're in real estate for the long term. Jeffrey, thank you again. The name of his podcast is Lockbox. I'm going to be on that. I think we're meeting next week for me to be recorded on yours. I cannot wait. Great last piece of information. Thank you, Jeffrey. And you have been a pleasure to talk to.
You too. I'm excited for our podcast next week. Thank you so much for having me on, Krista.
Oh, you're welcome. And everyone, listen, it's really great to listen to information, but information alone is not going to do anything for you. You've got to take action. Implementation is key. I hope you're just as fired up as I am listening to Jeffrey Brogger. I almost said it wrong. Jeffrey Brogger. Go to steezy.digital, and everyone make it a great day. And thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with me. It means so much to me. And I will see you next time on the next episode of Fired Up with Krista Mashore. Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free, and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.